Hey, what's up, guys? It is the Ace Michael Show. Ace Michael's happy to be here with you. I always say that I'm happy to be here with you, and that's not just like a thing that I say. Like, I really am happy to be here with you. I have chosen a career that is my favorite thing to do. So I actually make money doing what I love, and that's great. I don't think you ever get better than that. If you can make money doing what you love, just think about that. What do you love to do? I don't know you. I don't know what you love to do. Don't say it out loud. Don't give the other people the benefit of knowing. Just be in your head right now, just think about if I could be making a living at dot dot dot, what would I be doing? And just think about that. Think about because my grandpa used to say, he used to say a lot of different weird, crazy things, but one of the things he said that made sense was he said you can always get money. You can't always pursue your dream. That's what he said. Welcome to the Ace Michael Show. Today, my guest is a fabulous. I brought another host on my show. That's how big my show is. My show is so big that we can host other hosts. That's what I'm saying. Welcome to the show. First timer on my show, Priscilla Moy is with us today. Priscilla, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm great.
Welcome to
How
the
are
Ace
you?
Michael Show.
Yes, thank you for having me. Always an honor.
Priscilla, are you doing what you love in life? Are you living the life of your dreams?
Oh, 100%. That's why I moved out here. So here we are.
And you moved out here from?
I moved out here from Chicago, Illinois, born and raised.
World of crime and pizza slices. I love it.
The
I love
Midwest is the best.
Did you know any mobsters when you were in Chicago?
No, but I have
Shame
family
on
that
you.
do.
Oh, well, there you go. You covered your base.
I know. Wait.
You
Maybe
covered
not
your
me.
base.
I don't need to. But if I got a tie, just kidding.
Right,
Or maybe
right.
not.
And you're not going to talk about anything you don't need
No,
to talk
no,
about.
no,
That's for
no.
sure. So, Midwest. So, you come from the Midwest
Yes.
to Vegas. Why Vegas?
Well, it has to do with my career. So
Yeah.
originally, right, like I just came on. I know primarily you see me as a TV host, but I've only been doing that since October of last year.
Oh, wow.
So that was not primarily my goal. That was not something that I knew would come into fruition. I think that's something that was a happenstance. But I've actually been acting and modeling for almost 14 years now. So that's primarily my job.
Girl, you don't even look old enough to be modeling for no 14 years. You look like you 14. What are you
Yeah,
talking
well,
about?
thank you. I'll be turning
Stop
30
playing.
this year.
Stop
so.
toying with my emotions.
Yeah, so I did that, and that was probably the biggest thing that I loved. When I was younger, fashion was probably the biggest thing for me, so I thought I was going to become a designer, but I also loved being in front of the camera. Camera work was always just something that drew me, but I did not want to start off learning camera acting. I think film acting is entirely different, the way that you train and the certain methods that you'll train versus what you get from theater. So I had started theater in high school when I was younger, and I knew that if I wanted to succeed in this business, the biggest thing that I would have to do is to educate myself, was to get experience, to find out what it takes to do what I want to do. Because everyone wants to be an actor, everyone wants to be a model, everyone wants to be a star, right? But what is the main reason why you want to do those things? Is it for the stardom? Is it for, to look pretty on camera or pretty pictures or whatever? And so I knew being Asian, being petite, because this was probably early 2000s, times have changed, but starting out where there was no social media really. There's Facebook and MySpace, but people didn't use that for business,
we
right?
We don't use the MySpace
The MySpace
word
or the
here.
Zanga, right?
Yeah.
Like those
Or
things.
ICQ.
Yes. No one used those for business. It wasn't to network or to market. You post, hey, this is what I ate today, or hey, today this is blah, 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 spent time with family, but it was statuses, So I was like, I can't walk into an agency. I can be like every other girl. They're going to look at me and be like, okay, what are we going to do with this 5'2" girl? She wants to be a model. Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. An actress, okay, yeah, she's Asian, but where does she fit? So I was like, let me start off in theater. Let me start being in front of the camera modeling-wise. Let me start creative directing, right? I love fashion. Let me start doing my own photo shoots. So I networked around Chicago, started to get a portfolio made. Then I knew I was going to study theater acting in college. So I auditioned. I went to Illinois Wesleyan. That's out in Bloomington Normal, Illinois.
Woohoo!
And they have a huge theater program. They're very well known for the musical theater department program primarily, but they'll have BFA acting, BA theater arts, BFA musical theater, and BFA design tech. So they're very, very, very well known in the theater community to having great alumni. The way that they train, the intensity, blah, blah, blah. So I went to college, got my degree in 2015, and after that, I knew theater was not the world I wanted to stay in. I wanted to do acting, but the film world. Now, I knew nothing about how to navigate film world because you're taught how to audition for theater, you're taught how to hold yourself in cattle call auditions, you're taught about how to be prepared, how to dress, how to look, what type of monologues to do, what type of package to have, what type of headshots to have. But film and TV is very much about individuality. People thrive on look, right? Like they thrive on someone who's different, where they can put you when it comes to the eye. It's not so much like theater. So I stayed in Chicago. I started to market myself. I did the transition. Started getting with agencies and started to audition for shows like Chicago Med, Chicago PD, do commercials and stuff. And I had already built up. So in this time, I have my training, I have my degree, I built up a resume, I have a modeling portfolio, right? I have all these prints. I found out why I want to do what I do and the craft behind it. And I knew that Chicago was not going to do it for me particularly. It might work for some people, but that wasn't the city that I was going to thrive in. People love to move straight to New York, straight to LA, straight to a big city because they think that's where you need to be, but they don't go prepared. They don't have like a plan. They don't have a drive. They want a city to make them. And so I was like, well, I've traveled to Las Vegas a lot when I was younger. I love the city. I love the vibe. It's close to LA. It's cheaper than LA, and I just need to sort of get my feet wet on the West Coast. Let me find out how things work out there. So I came in 2019. I think I was going to turn 26 that year, but I was already ready, right? I had experience with agencies. I was industry smart. I knew what to avoid, what, was good, was bad, how to catch on to red flags, what I needed to do to kind of make sure I navigated Vegas properly and marketed myself in a way where I was going to be taken seriously, right? And I had no idea what the film industry was like here or the fashion industry or the photography, but it was something I was going to find out. But I thought I was smart enough, and I knew that I was like, okay, I know I'm not going to try to get in with the wrong crowd. I'll at least get my feet wet, feel the city out, learn the vibe, right?
Yeah.
And so when I came here, I was head first into, okay, what are the agencies here? What are their clients like? Like, who are the photographers here? Let me get the feel what the type of people are around here and kind of solidify myself as someone that I came here to be. And that's kind of how everything ended up.
That's how it
unrolling.
manifested itself.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because this is kind of the elephant in the room. Since we're both Asians, there used to be in the film industry really a very limited amount of roles that an Asian woman could get, let's say 10 years ago. But now we see, especially like in the superhero genre, we see like every new movie, they've got to have a black one and an Asian one and a trans one and a bisexual one. And, that's just how things are done now. What are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like that's more encouraging for you as an actor? Do you say, oh, there's more diversity now?
Yes. I mean, back then, I had no idea how it was going to unfold, and I think being in the industry, you learn how segregated it can be and how diverse it is not until they have to, right? You kind of think, oh, like, especially when you're younger, oh, like, it's not that bad, or there's going to be something. It's just going to happen. I'm not going to worry about that. But eventually, as time has come on, you learn how people see things from the other side, from an agent's point of view, from a casting director, from an executive producer, what they look for. And it's kind of the dichotomy of everything's about look, but it can make or break you. And it's nothing to do with talent most of the time. And so as time went on, and you see that it kind of goes hand in hand with a culture thing as well, because a lot of Asians don't know how to speak up in times of when they don't see many roles, or lots of things are not as fair, because a lot of Asians, and I've been, a victim of this, where you just want to be grateful for anything that you can get. You don't want to speak out of line because you're scared that if you do too much, you demand too much, no one's going to want to work with you. So I think I kind of stand for one of those that are just very, I get it. I'm Asian. That's not going to change. So you can't try to make me feel less than because I'm Asian and you don't know where to place me. There's not enough roles. Because there is. You can easily, as much as you can make that role a different other color, you can make it also an Asian role. Obviously, if it can't be for script purposes, for a storyline, then yes. Yeah. However, I feel like we've been kind of suppressed for too long. Now you're slowly starting to see that it doesn't have to be the crazy rich Asian role. That's why they use Asian actors. It could be something like in Barbie. You can make one of the Kens Asian, and that's what they did, thankfully. Right. Yeah. So I'm glad it's slowly revolutionizing, and I'm glad that I'm now in it at a point in time when things are starting to really open up,
Excuse me. Yeah, it's very good. When I was a young man, there was only, like an Asian actor was, of course, Bruce Lee. But you could only really have Asians if there was a scene with a Yakuza or, she's going to come in and she's going to be like the geisha girl. Then we needed Asian actress. But it was the same thing for black actors. Like, I remember people were telling me when I was in high school that I should pursue acting. Well, I didn't want to pursue acting. I mainly chose to pursue music because there weren't any roles for black guys besides being a pimp or a drug dealer or a killer. I didn't want to do any of those roles. So I was like, nah, I don't know about that acting thing. That's not really my bug. But I think that there is a lot more diversity, and I have mixed feelings about it in the sense that I don't think that we should make Superman Asian just because we can. I think that it doesn't really tie into the story. There's no reason he couldn't be. There's no reason why Jesus couldn't be Asian. But we've already got this kind of image in our head of who Superman, Batman, Luke Skywalker, all these people are. Why not write new stories and put new characters out there? That's my feeling.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant by, like, there's certain roles that are very much like that. Like, that's like like there's history behind Superman, right? Like, it's not new, So there are things like that when it goes to a storyline or something that's very adamant about look, that you're trying to either recreate. It's someone from history. It's someone that everyone knows.
Right.
It's a little different, but what I meant was, like, when there's just a role and you got the friend, and then they decide that they want that friend to be, but he can easily be an Asian friend. It doesn't have to be a certain color, right? But there was a lot where they just couldn't see it, right? Like in film, when they write a new story, a new drama, they're more susceptible to cast a lot of different other races. Before maybe this year, where Everything All at Once became such a big thing.
Everything All at Once was a great film. You saw it, right?
Yes, and they can make those roles. So those roles didn't have to be Asian. They could have been anything. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can easily, it kind of showed that Asians can do more than just be what you envision them to be. And I had an argument with an agent at one time. He was trying to tell me what I should and shouldn't be doing because he didn't agree that I had dreams, that my dreams and my goals were too far-fetched. Because as an actor, he would only submit me for things that looked like I was 12, and he told me the only way you're going to make money is if you play that Asian grocery store owner with the accent.
Oh my God.
He's like, that's the only way. He's
really?
like, you have, yes, he's like, that's the only way. And then one time he sent me to an audition. He wanted me to audition for this movie filming on in LA, so low pay, maybe like $100 a day. And it was a 14-year-old Indian girl. Now, I understand Indians are Asian, but Indians are a different type of Asian. And respectfully, this script was surrounding an Indian family, culturally. So respectfully, that's not for me. Give that to an Indian. But I told him this, and he blew up at me saying, they can change. I've been in this industry a long time. They can change the role. They could do whatever. I'm like, respectfully, I will have to decline because that's not morally in me. I believe this is about an Indian family. It should go to an Indian actress. I should not be taking this. And as an Indian name, they're not going to put a 30-year-old actress to play a 14-year-old girl, Indian girl that I look right. Like,
right.
It's one of those things. And so he was sending me nasty messages how, good luck, you're not going to make it, blah, blah, blah.
And he's your agent?
He was, yes.
Oh, well,
and he was very old school. He told me that, only tall girls look good in clothing. I would ruin a fashion show.
Oh, no.
And you know what I mean? And it's just one of those where agents love to talk down because they think that everyone that walks in their room, they trust them to make their dreams happen. So there's like this ego, there's this power, right?
Yeah.
These agents think they have, and they think that you need to listen to them because they're the ones that will guide you. When in reality, they control how successful you get, right? They control if they want to submit you for a job, they control how your image should be. And I'm very much an individual. I've learned how to not need agents, right? I know how to get jobs on my own. I market myself properly because of these reasons, where agents tell me I shouldn't be doing something because they feel I shouldn't, right?
Well, let's help out some folks. Okay, so give me 3 to 5 things that an actor should learn how to do to steer their own course. Because I've heard from other actors the same thing, that some agent told me this. And I've even read stories where some agent told someone famous. I think it was doggone it, the most Academy Award winning actress, Meryl Streep. I think some agent had told her she was never going to make it because she wasn't pretty enough. Well, she obviously did make it.
Yes.
Right? So give me a couple of pointers that we can help the people that are trying to get started. What would you say? Like maybe 3 to 5 different pointers you would say. Number one, don't listen to agents that tell you can't, because clearly you can.
Yes. So the first things first, I would find out who you are as a person and why you want to do what you do. I ask this a lot for
That's the
actors,
first thing that you say,
actors and models. I ask the first thing is, why do you want to be an actor, right? Depending on their answer, is it for the fame? Is it for the craft of it? Is it because you saw someone in a movie one day and you said, I want to be that guy? I don't care really what it is, but I always ask them because that's going to depict how much drive you're willing to have to reach a certain goal. And if you want to be a great actor, you could be an actor, but do you want to be a great actor? Like depending on, and I realize that why people want something shows how much they're willing to give and how much they care. If it's for clout, you see like they'll bounce to people. They just want to be the recognition. They want the after, but they don't do the work in between. So that just kind of shows. The second thing is take acting classes, train. Acting is not easy. Acting is not some lines on a paper someone else wrote and you just say it. And then all of a sudden you're an actor. That's not the point. Like training, you find out how many different methods there are, and then you kind of form your own way on how to prepare for a role. Every role is different. Studying theater, I learned the Stanislavski method. That's kind of the method that I choose when it goes to
That's
acting.
LA, baby.
Yes, I mean a lot of film actors, they love Meisner, and I understand that.
No, Meisner. No, come on.
Yeah,
No,
but mine is personally right, and I don't hook on anyone. I believe some people mix them, and I agree with that too. But you have to find your own way to approach a role, because what you'll learn when you're studying acting, and that's what I'm telling people you need to study acting, is because there's so much more behind the lines that you're saying.
No,
I
want to interject here because you mentioned Stanislavski and Meisner. I know that Pacino was Stanislavski, but was De Niro Meisner, or was De Niro also Stanislavski? Or does it matter? Do you even know? Does anybody even care?
I think, no, honestly, I have no idea what
I know Pacino was Stanislavski.
But I think a lot of film actors are geared towards method acting. So I know a lot of them do study Meisner and they go towards method acting. I don't know what De Niro was, but I think it should matter to the actor.
Did you ever see Godfather 2?
Yes.
The character Hyman Roth in Godfather 2 was the acting coach for Al Pacino.
Oh, that's amazing.
Did you see Austin Powers?
Yes, I have.
And the lady, what's her character name? I can't think of her character name right now, but Mindy Sterling is the actress who plays the one that goes, "Send in the gods!" Right? She is Mike Myers' comedy coach.
Oh, nice. That's great. That's fantastic to have them on sets, too. That kind of how that plays
little
out.
Little piece of trivia there.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are. Those are good pieces of advice for sure, definitely. We're going to run out of time, and I hate to run out of time because it just happens. Time is never our friend on the show. But I do want to ask you more about the acting from the perspective of technique. Yes. So I'm always curious because I'm mostly music. Like I don't do acting. I deal with music artists, and so we have a way that we process and we make songs, Do you have a way that you approach a role that is your go-to?
Yes. So I love to do in pure Stanislavski and theatrical methods are to like look behind the backstory of the characters. You know, who are you? Why are you here? Who are you talking to? What do you want? What's the purpose? What's the time? Like you look at, first of all, what's the time period? You know, who are you? Like, are you a married person? Like, what do you do for a living? Because all of those things, if you think about the human complexities that we all have something that drives us to do what we do in life, whether it's in platonic relationships, romantic relationships. You know, there's a way we go about things and a complexity to how we think, right? So and I remember because I had an acting class, it was called Actors Rep, and it wasn't a class that was accredited class, but it was something all BFA actors had to go on Thursdays at 5. Everyone had a monologue they had to memorize, and when it's your week to go, we had about like maybe 5 people that would go per week. You would do your monologue in front of everyone, and then the teacher, or professor, would literally, after you're done the first time, they would ask you, okay, who are you? You'd have to answer. And he'd be like, okay, who are you speaking to? Then you'd have to answer. What do you want? And a lot of times that is the way where actors have no answer because they don't know what they want. And so when you think about going towards a role and you're thinking about, okay, this particular scene, what exactly do I want from this person in this time? Do I want them to say they love me? Do I want them to, show emotion to me? Like, there's just something, because we don't speak to each other without a reason behind it, right? There's always a reason why we're saying something. We go to a certain person.
Oh,
and
I
so
love this. Yes.
To know
it's true.
what drives you, why would the character do this? And then obviously the time period, the gender, all of the type of social class you're in will all depict how the character would carry themselves. Right? Are they middle class? Are they wealthy? Are they extremely poor? Or, you know what I mean? Do they come from a family of immigrants? Like, it depends on how they would navigate their life. And so to know all of this, to do all of this homework, and then when the scene goes, like, you'll know how to make choices based on what the character wants in that moment in time and how they would naturally be.
Oh, this is good. You're good.
Yes. Oh,
You're good. So we got time for one last thing, and it's a game that we're going to play that I actually literally just made up right now. And in this game, I'm going to give you 2 characters that are famous characters. I'd like to know which one you would prefer to play if you could cast yourself and why.
Okay.
Okay? So you get the choice. This is number 1. That was a drum roll. Number 1 is Mrs. Santa Claus or Jesus' mom, Mary. You get to pick only one. Which one would you like to play? Mrs. Santa Claus or Mary, Jesus' mom, Mary? Not Mary Magdalene, but Jesus' mom, Mary.
Okay. Jesus' mom.
And why?
I think she's a very complex person. I'm a Roman Catholic.
You talking some smack on Jesus' mom?
No, I know. I think that's amazing, though. I think as an actor, though, to have that sort of, there's a story there. Like, I love a story. I love someone that I can dig into and I can work with the time period, the way people viewed women at the time, and how she got around to the pregnancy. She gave birth to, Jesus Christ, right? Like, there's a lot about Mary that I feel no one really talks about. I think to show that would be amazing. I think that would be a challenge, right? Like, I'm not saying Mrs. Santa Claus wouldn't be a challenge, but you know what I mean?
Mrs. Santa Claus maybe, but I think I'm with you there. These are my personal opinion, Okay, so I'm gonna give you not just women.
Okay.
In a biopic, an autographical picture, Prince or Michael Jackson?
Ooh, Michael Jackson, 100%.
Really?
100%.
100%?
Yes, yes.
Why?
Yes.
Why 100%?
First of all, I'm a huge fan of Michael Jackson, so maybe I might be biased. Not that I'm not a fan of Prince, but like I grew up listening to Michael Jackson along with stuff. But I believe when I'm so intrigued by him, not because of his music and his talent, but because of his life. I think you're learning. I love a story, but like it's sad in a way where someone that has achieved that much and has gone through so many different, times of his life that were detrimental, right? People can talk about it as a rise, but also a decline in life, right? And I think to tell a story like that, how to tell it in a very genuine way without, just from a human being side. I think people forget that these people are humans. And Michael Jackson, to this day, like, rest in peace, I don't ever speak ill of the dead, but like you still have people saying this, saying that, you know what I mean? And it's entirely sad because people forget he was a human and he gave all to his his job and his work and for his fans and to please, but he still did not feel satisfied enough within himself and in his life because he never was able to have his own life, if that makes sense, right? Everything he did, he couldn't go to the grocery store. He couldn't do anything without shutting down an entire store just to go get milk or something, right?
It's crazy, right?
And I feel like that would be a great another challenge, but a great story to tell. Yes.
The last one I get, and this is going to be me speaking as a CEO of a major film company. We're going to make a trilogy that's going to be you starring. Okay, Priscilla, you're starring in this trilogy film series as either Mother Teresa or Mother Nature. Go. Which one are you going to be?
Mother Nature.
What?
I love how you don't think I'm going to answer it the way I'm going to. Like, you die
Mother
every
Nature?
time.
Really?
Mother Nature. How sad is she? Imagine. Think about it. How sad is Mother Nature? Okay, we're going to do a trilogy, right?
Yes.
Think of all the different, how long, nature's obviously been around. She's evolving based on, who's thriving on it, what's happening in the world, what's happening within the environment. Yes. If you focused on different periods of just however long planet Earth has been around, you see drastic change. And then you can explore, why is that? Let's dig into that. How it genuinely is affecting it, how much Mother Nature is giving but doesn't receive in return. And so how things have evolved compared, like, animals, certain humans, how humans are evolving, species are evolving, how species become extinct, how plants, how, bacteria, things are just not the same as it used to be, and why.
Wow.
Yeah.
Deep.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Priscilla Moy on the show today, getting deep with the Mother Nature conversation. Mother Nature on the Moon, coming
Mother
soon
Nature.
in Ace Michaels' film starring Priscilla Moy.
Listen.
Priscilla Moy is back in Mother Nature Part 2. You thought she was windy then. I love it. Priscilla Moy, thank you for being on the show today.
You
Please
for
come
having
back
me.
anytime.
Yes.
You can come and hang with us. We love you here. And guys, if you ever want to be on the show, we'd love to have you. Just send a little message, say, hey, I want to be on the show. We'll get you on the show. And that is what's up. It's the Ace Michaels Show, man. Live the life you love. Love the life you live. Thank you. Excellent work, Priscilla Moy.
Thank you. I think I was major shock factor for you. You didn't know what was coming in your studio today.
Love it.